All right, everybody. Hey, it's Jim Wanzeck with RE/MAX Masters Millennium, and we're here at 6020 Greenwood Plaza Boulevard, our headquarters, and we're in the Mount Albert studio. And this is part of our series on how to get to know our agents a little bit better. And we have one of the best agents in the industry, and I'm really excited. Mark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well, Jim. How are you?
Well, I'm really excited for you to interview you and kind of talk about Mark Rielly, the person, because you're kind of a legend in our industry. A lot of people know you. You give back to the industry. You give back in a lot of charities, and it's really exciting to get to know you a little bit about. So tell us, Mark, the person.
Mark, the person is I'm older than I'd like to be, but
that happens.
I like to think of that as experience. Have two amazing kids that are in college, and my son's actually graduating with his master's. So love my kids. I've been in Colorado since '82.
Okay.
Moved here my former life with Owens Corning Fiberglass. They moved me all over the country. I got to Colorado and looked at the blue sky and got to skiing and hiking and climbing mountains and riding horses, and I was like, I can't move back to Ohio. So
yeah, it's really contagious there. But you are originally from Ohio.
I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay.
And grew up there, went to Miami University, which is in Oxford, Ohio, and then went to graduate school at Xavier University, working on my MBA.
Wow.
And then got promoted to Colorado, and haven't looked back. So
when you got your after school, you got directly with Corning?
Well, I briefly worked. This will really date me, but Pan American World Airlines.
Oh,
and
sure.
I was in marketing for them, so
Okay.
I flew all over the world and had a lot of international experience with them.
Neat.
But got laid off twice, and the travel business was crazy, and Pan Am was a great company, but they were poorly managed, and so I haven't looked back. I mean, I literally grew up, in the housing industry,
Right.
and grew up building houses. And with my neighbor who was a builder, he built 2 custom homes a year. So
Cool.
I grew up and learned how to reading blueprints. And so it was a natural for me to kind of morph into the housing industry. As a teenager, I did open houses. My other neighbor was a realtor.
Okay.
So I wasn't legal,
Right.
at that time to actually do a contract, but they would, I would do an open house on the weekend. And then when I got a hot buyer, the builder would come in, or the realtor would come in, and they would do the actual contract.
Well, the building industry and growing up in that really gives you a unique perspective on our industry. And I think, that's something that I think you really need to expand on, because things with your previous, and that's very previous, but now tell us how that impacts you today.
Well, it gives me a foot up. I mean, first of all, I got my license originally. I was a part-time agent working for myself, investing with my own properties, fixing and flipping. That's what it's called now.
Right.
And back, everyone looks at HGTV now, and I was actually a guest expert on This Old House when it first went nationwide. So they flew me back to Boston and worked with Bob Vila. And
but Bob Vila knew what he was doing back then.
He did.
Some of these guys today,
exactly.
It's kind of, you shake your head and say, I could do that. And I know that you could do that, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. But what that means to my clients is so many of these homes, they have been fixed and they've been flipped. And I always used to use the term, I can't use it anymore because everybody uses it, but lipstick on a pig.
Right.
I mean, so many times they'd put in, fancy countertops and cheap, cabinets, but they wouldn't touch any of the, what I call the non-sexy, the furnace or the air conditioner or the roof, the electrical, things like that. So what that means for my clients is when we're walking through a house, I can get real close to what the actual final inspection is going to be just by walking around. We can save a lot of time. I'm not an inspector. I'm not an engineer or an electrician or a roofer or a furnace person. I don't play one on TV,
right?
But I can really get them close, and that saves a lot of time and gives them a lot of people have just recently gotten their license, and everybody's an expert because they've watched HGTV,
right? And, I think it's what you can provide is taking the lipstick off the pig and making sure that they understand the components and how it's built and structural issues, and then be able to hand that off to the expert if you need to.
Absolutely, and then also find the diamond in the rough.
Oh, sure.
Because so many of the properties, it's what I call a grandmother house. the couple moved into the house in 1960 or 70. They raised their family there.
Yep.
Statistically, the husband dies first, so the grandmother has lived there and has taken great care of the house. But, it was last decorated when Nixon was president. And
Exactly.
it's got the orange countertops and the shag carpet. And so my clients, I'm able to say, okay, if you're spending $5,000 on carpet and some paint, that goes a long way and brings it up to snuff, rather than buying the lipstick on the pig.
Sure.
Which they're what are they really getting? And still has the original single pane windows, and they didn't really
insulated or
they
whatever.
There's no insulation. That was my part with Owens Corning, trying to get super insulated homes, and the green. So
I know, we kind of glossed over this, but you've had your license since 1984, right?
I have,
yeah. So so tell us a little bit about, so that's the longevity of that, because you did the fix and flips, you worked on a lot of that stuff, and now it really helps you in your career currently with the market that we have. How do you feel about this market that we have to deal with?
This is insane. I mean, I've never, you've been around as long as I have or longer, and I've never seen anything like this, which makes it even more important now to work with an agent, whether it's me or you or somebody else.
Right.
I mean, it's vital to be working with somebody that really knows what they're doing.
Yep.
I mean, I wear a occasional vest which has the Remax logo on it, and I was changing at Costco. I was changing my membership, and I went in, and she said, "Oh, you're with Remax."
Right.
And she said, "I'm with," and I won't mention the company. And I'm like, "Wow, she's she's a realtor." And then literally that same day, I'm checking out, and the guy's checking my receipt. And he's like, "Oh, you're with Remax." I'm with, and then he mentioned another.
Right.
No, and not that that's anything bad with those people, because I mean, early on, we all start.
Absolutely.
But I mean, when I finally got licensed, I had already been doing real estate,
right,
my whole life.
And that's a very, very good point, because I think that, not every real estate company and agents are created equal. And I think really to show the value proposition that you bring to the table, I see it all the time, and I really appreciate that. But you also give back, and tell us a little bit about your association and where you are with them now.
Well, I with SMEDRA, South Metro Board of Realtors. My kids, I mentioned, they're away at college, and tragically, my wife passed away a few years ago with cancer. Yeah. So I have more time on my hands now, and I really wanted to give back. And I also, we're at a crossroads in the real estate profession,
right?
And I really wanted to try to impact that, and so I ran for the board and was elected, and to the board, South Metro Board,
right?
And it's really critical at this juncture, because I mean, we have. And I love the internet, and I love, that you can go online and everybody can look and search, but you really have to disseminate the information.
Right.
And that's critical. I mean, if you can go on WebMD if you have a cold or you have some symptoms or something like that, but you're going to call a specialist.
That's right.
And I've had both my knees operated on, and I'm going to find the best knee surgeon I can.
That's exactly right.
And I think sometimes, a little bit of information can be a bad thing.
Right.
And really it's dissemination of that information.
Right, right.
And so working with a professional is critical, and working with somebody that's been around. And my dad, God rest his soul, was amazing. But I remember coming out of college, and a lot of people were working for their dads. And I said, "Dad, can you give me a job?" And he goes, "Mark," he goes, "when you start working for a company, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and those mistakes are going to cost your employer a lot of money." And he said, "Mark, I want you to go make mistakes with somebody else's money."
Oh, man, yeah. Good. That's pretty good advice. But, that kind of brings me to a question about Remax Masters Millennium. I mean, Mark, your experience, you could work anywhere in the industry that you want. Tell us a couple things about our company that you like.
Well, it's funny because, and people don't realize this, but you and I have been talking for 15 years. I've been with Remax for 24 years.
Right.
And obviously, before that in real estate, and you and I have done a couple of deals together, and I've always respected you. And it's funny because I was on the outside looking in. I was at a different RE/MAX office at the time, love RE/MAX. And, this office, I was doing more deals because RE/MAX Masters Millennium had all the listings, in this area. And it had all the professional agents. And so finally, I'm like, this is crazy. Why am I at the other RE/MAX and switch? And what that means to my clients is that, we have 110 or however many agents,
Right.
and it's the top agents. And I mean, RE/MAX doesn't mess around. If somebody is remotely unethical or anything like that, they're gone.
Right.
And so many of these other offices, people are, if they do a lot of business, so they keep them around. But this office is amazing, especially now. That's really important to my clients because there aren't that many listings.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can walk around the office here and knock on doors. Everybody's very, very available. What do you have coming? What do you have coming in Franktown? What do you have coming in Arvada? What do you have coming in Littleton?
Right.
So you get the real scoop on it. And I'm also able to, we have the attorney on staff. And I mean, this studio is amazing, to help my clients.
Right.
And so it's really the best of the best. And, the number one office and for RE/MAX. And thank you for putting everything together because this is just a dynamic office. And we have title here. We have, the insurance people here. We have, everybody's right here. A couple lenders to work with. So
Right. Well, but Mark, it takes people like you that really are the rainmakers and help people every day that give us the opportunity to do an office like this. So I really want to thank you for your time today. I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better. People don't know that it took me about 5 years to get you over. So, you have to be tenacious too. And thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Well, no, I love being here. And, it's like, why did I wait so long?
Well, so tell us, how could people get a hold of you?
Well, it's Mark Rielly, markrielly.com, RIELLY.
Okay.
My phone is 303-881-9800, and be happy to help. And just to be a source of knowledge. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not the high pressure.
No.
I mean, to me, it's about my clients.
Yes.
How can I best help my sellers? And my sellers, because of the Owens Corning and my marketing experience, when it goes to selling their house, I know marketing, I know sales, but then when they're buying, they get my advantage of all my construction experience and how I can help sift through that. So,
well, not only would you get all that experience, you'd get a quality individual that really has heart and soul into this industry and gives back and has a wonderful family. And really, you've stood the test of time. And thank you so much for being here, Mark.
All right. Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you soon. Another great interview with Mark Rielly.